It's gonna be like, oh.
No.
You want to see my reaction or something?
No, there's nothing to do with that.
Alright.
We're just gonna have a conversation.
Just having, okay.
But the conversation should explain why we're doing this and what's gonna come out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you don't have to like talk to the camera. You can like talk to me.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about what I've been thinking about, what I've been going through, and also what I'm planning to do moving forward. Because it's pretty much what everyone likes to ask me now that I don't have a job and I'm just sitting around. The question is always like, oh, well, what are you doing? Right?
Okay.
And I've been struggling with this question for like the last 3 months, I would say, after the accelerator, because I went through the UCLA Summer Accelerator where I was planning to do a startup. And for the last, like, you know this, like the last 4 or 5 years, I kind of have been working towards and thinking that I would start a startup that would take off and then I'd do that, right? But over the course of that time, it didn't work out. So essentially, I'm now at this point where I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life. Now that I have nothing kind of constraining me, I'm done with school. I'm really trying to figure out what it is I want to do.
All right. Well, so what are you doing then?
Dude, you don't have to be so fake about it.
Well, no, I mean, you said everyone's asking.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
well, so I don't have a solid plan yet, but the idea is, okay, so I just finished reading several books. One of them was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, which is the thing that inspired me to run a marathon. So I ran my first marathon.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And then the next book that I've been reading like yesterday and today was called Crushing It by Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't know if you've heard of. Okay, but basically, backpedal a little bit. So Eternalist. So that's all about documenting your life, right?
Okay.
I figured out that essentially, as I've been thinking about this, what I really want out of life is to do what I want to do and like make enough money to support myself doing that, right? Okay. Which is what people want to do. That's what most people want to do. Mm-hmm. So then the question becomes, okay, well, what is it that you want to do? Because that's another question that you don't necessarily know the answer to. And at first I thought it was, okay, I want to start a startup. I want to build a startup that becomes successful. I'm not as confident that that's the answer anymore. And as I've started thinking more about it, what I realize is the times that I am most like fulfilled and happy, whatever, is when I'm out in nature, right? When I'm like going on a run or a hike, or I'm like somewhere, or traveling, like going somewhere else, I'm like really enjoying myself. So I want to do that. So like my current thinking on like Sprinter van and all of that stuff, where I want to live out of a van, that's what I want to do, right? The other thing that is sort of important to me is I want to hustle. Like I want to try to like make money, right? So this thing that I'm doing now, where I'm like getting free stuff on Craigslist and I'm selling it on Facebook Marketplace, is like a way for me to make a little bit of money. Obviously, I'm not making a lot of money, but perhaps I can use that to build enough funds to support. Like I can save some money doing that and doing other side hustles like the Can Man and these other things that I can save enough money to then do, like to pay for my Sprinter van and the thing that I want to do, which is the travel, right? Bringing it back to the book that I was talking about, Crushing It by Gary Vee. He basically it's a manual on how to leverage social media to become an influencer. And what I realized was I kind of like had this block, and this is something that he talks about in the book, which is like one of the things stopping people from becoming influencers is that they don't feel like it's super like vain, and they don't want to be seen like that. But one of his things is like, but that's actually a very important part of like building a business, is to build a community and grow it. And I've had brushes with this before, right? With like my Instagram, trying to grow that. But what I realized is like Eternalist is literally like I want someone to document my life. I'm too lazy to do it. What I really want to be is an influencer, right? Because that's what an influencer does, right? An influencer documents their life, and they figure out a way to monetize it.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
you want to combine being an influencer then with like the Sprinter vans and traveling around.
Yeah, so
Okay.
one of the things that Gary Vee talks about a lot is that it's going to take a lot of time. So it might take several years. But I'm prepared to spend 1 year doing that. Specifically, the thing that I'd like to try to do is vlog. So I want to make daily vlogs. I'm going to try to do daily. We'll see if I can get one video out a day.
On what? Just like anything?
Just what my day is, right? And typically that will be, a lot of times that will be like going on a run, right? And so I've been thinking about ways that I can build content around trail runs. So I'm thinking about reviewing trails. But really the big thing, the big trip that I want to make is I want to build a sprinter van or buy some van, figure out what I need to do that. I got to figure that out. But then I want to try to hit all of the national parks in the US and do the major trails at each of those parks, right? And then I can do reviews and document all of those trips, right? And so the goal kind of being to become like a running / travel influencer on YouTube. I think YouTube is the right platform because I've done YouTube before. I know that if you create things that are actually valuable, actually help people with something, or is interesting, then like you can easily make money from it.
What about the criticisms of YouTube as far as like how it treats its or what some people on the internet might say about how YouTube sort of treats its creators or like its content creators?
I don't see anything wrong with the way YouTube treats its content creators. I've seen that I made a video that got 50K views and I made $200 from it, right? So if or something like that, I don't know, maybe it was like $100, I don't know. But the point is, there's a very clear path towards monetization, even if none of those other paths work out. Now, I don't expect to be making money right off the bat, but if I can prove that I can start gaining some traction and engagement from people who are interested in like this concept of either run, I'm not exactly sure like what my niche is. That's why I think I need to start vlogging, because then I'll figure out which videos do best and like which things people are interested in, and then I'll kind of double down on that. But if I can start making videos, it might like over the course of a year and do it regularly, then I'll start to develop like an audience. And I think this is back doorway of also trying to get a good start on the startup that I want to make, because the barrier that I hit in the startups was, okay, now I'm pretty confident I can build almost anything. I mean, that's really not true. There's a lot of limitations to what I can build, but I feel confident that I can at least figure out how to build a prototype for any idea I have. But the problem is, well, I can't get it into anyone's hands, or I can't figure out how to grow it, right? Even if I can build it, which I've built a few now products all the way from the beginning to the end till like launch. I still can't get it to people, and I don't know how to read the market. I don't know how to build it. So if I can figure out how to build an audience, then I can find their problems, solve them, and then there's an easy way to solve people's problems, monetize, and all of that, and also do the thing that I want to do.
What would be the startup idea then? Do you have one sort of based on this?
I have no startup idea, but the thinking right now is that startup ideas are easy. Once you have a community, you can figure out what problems they have and you can solve them. And the other cool thing about content is like it's very clear what is like working and what isn't, because you have the metrics, you have people who will reach out to you. I think the hardest part of this journey will be making stuff without any, because I know what happens is like you make stuff and then nothing like comes out of it. But I think I can decide, okay, I'm just gonna make a video every day, and then like for a year, right? And then we'll see what happens. That sounds brutal, and it really, but like the truth is I have a lot of time, and if I'm not spending time developing things anymore, which I really haven't been working on any projects like that recently, then I should have the time to make a video every day. And it might be a bad video, but like I'll work towards making it more interesting. But it starts with this video right now.
And they're all going to be what, like self-filmed or?
I mean, I would love to have, so Gary has like a guy who like follows him around, and then he like films everything and makes the videos. I would love to have that, but I don't know how I could convince anybody to follow me around and videotape stuff, right? So for now, it will have to be self-filmed. Yeah.
Okay.
But That's what I'm thinking right now. Because really, I don't want to get a job. I know that for sure.
Oh, okay.
I just don't know what I want to do instead. is the problem. And
so okay, so like, what are you hoping? Like with each, are you gonna hope to like learn something from each video then, or just doing it and like doing it is what really matters the most? Right?
Here's what I'm thinking. Like, first and foremost, the goal is to document. Document my life, and the reason is because that was the whole goal with Eternalist. I failed at that miserably. So now, if I do the process manually, I will, one, possibly build a following, and two, I will have a documentation of my life, which is like in also good benefit, right? Yeah. So that's, I have no idea. I know video is like crazy, a lot of work. So I am scared. Like after this, we're gonna hang out for a little bit more, and then I'm gonna have to edit the video before I go to bed, right? And then I'm gonna wake up at 6:30, right? Like, so I gotta figure out how to like make this part of my schedule. But this is like, I think if I do this, I will hit on something that I can do. I just don't know. That's the bet that I'm trying to make right now.
So like, but if you're focused on documenting things, right? Like every day documenting it, taking a video, then are you still enjoying, I guess, like the experiences? Are you still enjoying your day if you're focused on just trying to log it?
We'll have to see. I don't know. I mean, I think definitely taking photos and videos detracts from the experience, but I don't think there's another option at the moment. I don't see how there's another way. Basically, I've given up on passive tracking because I don't think any of that works right now.
And passive tracking just being like the data that you create from apps and
which is the whole Eternalist concept. I think I tried that passive thing. I mean, I could have probably tried harder. I could keep going, but I think right now the move, since I have so much time, is to try to double down on this. Let me work really hard and spend all my effort on documenting, because I fundamentally believe that my insight, my perspective on the world, my life, the things that I experience are interesting. Like, I think that if I can do a good job of documenting it, then it will be valuable for some people.
Do you know sort of what message you want to send yet, or are you going to figure that out?
I think I will refine that message as I go. Right now, my strategy is to record as much as possible and learn from every recording. I went hiking twice today because I got this GoPro 8, and the reason that I got it was, I didn't want to get it because it's expensive, but I looked at the return policy and I asked them, so I can just return it. And I probably will, but they have this mode that, so my thinking was, when I do these trail runs, I can wear this chest harness, the one over there, and they have this image stabilization. So I have a chesty, and the idea is I can go running and do a hyperlapse. You know what a hyperlapse is, right? And so you can watch the whole trail in like 5 or 6 minutes. You can see what the trail is really like, and it's a beautiful wide angle thing. I haven't figured out how to make it look as stable and smooth as the videos make it seem.
Oh, okay.
But I'm experimenting with it, so if I can do that, then that will be like good footage. Like, then every day that I go on a hike, I can produce a video of like, oh, here's a review on this trail. So I'll play the time lapse and I'll talk about like, oh, this is the best trail in San Mateo, right? So if you're in this area, this loop is great. You know, here are the pluses and minuses, stuff like that. I think that might be interesting.
Okay. Where would things like, All Trails or like Yelp, I don't know, just like different review sites or platforms, where would that fit in?
It's irrelevant because people will use those platforms. I hope they'll still use them. Like, I'm not trying to replace them.
I mean, like, are you trying to contribute content to them, or are you trying to do it like on your own?
YouTube is the channel, but I can definitely leverage places like All Trails where there aren't people. Like, okay, one of the other aspects of crushing it in that book is like how, like, engaging with people on these social platforms, DMing them, talking to them, striking up conversations with people who are in these groups. And I think my target group, there's a few people like working in this area, but it's like running and fitness. There's like a few like, and specifically endurance athletes, right? So like, yeah, I might try to like run a 50 miler and then like maybe like try to run a 100 miler. That's kind of like, if I can do that, that would be great. But there's like a whole community in this area of like people. I think I like the people that I see in this area. And then the other area is like there's this other group of people who are just like traveling. So there's people who like make like backpacking videos into like the wilderness, right? That's another possible area for me to go. I don't know yet. I will discover more as I move forward.
Dang, all right.
But yeah, so those other apps will be good places for me to find people to talk to. Sure. Because those are good people. I know they're interested in this stuff, so I can start conversations with them and use it to grow my presence and stuff like that. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to document everything. I'm going to try to figure it out. And probably the first video, like today's video, will probably be pretty bad. But I think like this conversation will help a lot in setting the stage for the intention and like. Okay. Yeah. One of the cool things is that if I do this for a year, at the end of the year, I can look back and see where I started and then see if it got better over the course of.
So like if you're using the chest harness, that'll help, right? I mean, at least then you're sort of passively recording.
Well.
Or are you like that?
It's not a perfect solution because the video is really shaky. I think I'm going to switch off of that. That would be specifically for the hiking videos, and I still need to figure it out. I haven't figured out how to make it as smooth. I'm like trying to figure it out, but I don't know if I will.
Okay. But so I was going to ask, like, with the idea just to be documenting anything, or is it going to be? Are you going to mostly focus on running and like outdoor stuff? Like, are most of the videos going to be of that, or is it just going to be of just anything that sort of happens during the day?
I think in the beginning. So I have. My week has like running days, workout days. So every day I do something different, right? On like different days, I'll probably, basically it could be whatever. So I'm going to document most of my day with videos that I take randomly, videos and photos, thoughts, whatever. And then at the end of the day, I will create any supplementary content that I need, like narrations or thoughts, like where I talk into the camera or things like that. And then I will kind of compile it all into something based on the footage that I got from that day, right? So I don't know until I do it, but if I go on a run, I will intentionally record certain things, like I'll put the chest harness on and do the hyperlapse.
Okay. And like what would make it sort of different from other like fitness or outdoors oriented influencers or content creators out there?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that, well, okay. What Gary Vee says, which I think is probably true, is like, for instance, fitness vlogging has been done before, right? Travel vlogging has been done before, but you have not done it before, right? Which is a way of saying like your personality and your quirks need to be infused in the content in a way that people grow to like you, right? And that is different from everyone else who's there. And I think that that's somewhat true, right? I think one thing that I'm going to try to leverage, so there's this one YouTuber that I found, which is completely unrelated, but basically he dresses up super fancy, like in a tuxedo, and then he does like reviews of fast food. So like this, it's just like a funny contrast between like his, and he takes it very seriously, right? So I think, I haven't quite figured, I mean, okay, the other tenet that Gary Vee talks about is like authenticity. Like you have to be yourself. So something that I think I'd like to explore and something that I think I might be good at is kind of like the contrast between like, so I'm very privileged, right? So I think it might be interesting to contrast like materialism and like very like expensive and like luxury to stereotypically like successful like iconography with like my kind of like disposition and beliefs of like transcendentalism, right? Which is like more like down to earth and like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know exactly how that will manifest. But like, for instance, one video that I'd like to make is like a time lapse or hyperlapse on my car, like on the front of the car, like, and I do like a beautiful drive, right? Like that kind of thing is like something I can easily do in a day, right? I don't know how to like, yeah, something, I don't know exactly what it is, but I think there might be something there, which is like choosing to deliberately live in the way that you know is like having your values and like living with them specifically. I don't know like exactly, yeah, I don't really know, but that's kind of my thoughts right now. I think it'll become more clear as I'm making videos and find what works.
Okay. All right. Wow.
I think I need to be chasing value, because one thing I learned from Carving LB, which is the longboarding channel I had, was that the most successful video we had was a how to make your custom grip tape video. And I think the reason that was successful was because people were looking for how do you make a custom grip tape, right?
People needed it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I can find something that, like, if people are looking for trails or like the most interesting trails or like looking for specific trail information, then maybe I can tap into that.
What else?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, okay. The other thing is like just the process of learning. So I'm very early in my running situation, right? So I can, for instance, go. Like something I want to do is check in with like, I don't even know what the proper doctor, like either like a running coach or like somebody who knows what they're talking about, and be like, hey, I just did my first marathon, I didn't train for it, can you like check me out?
Sure.
And like make sure that I have no like permanent damage, because I want to work up to a 50-miler and I don't want to suffer any like serious damage, right?
And
so
like just checking your habits or something, like your running habits or
my form and
equipment,
stuff like that, and I can document the process and speaking to these people, and that would be valuable for people, because I mean, a lot of the running videos online are really shitty. Like, I don't understand why, like, how they're so bad. Like,
how so? Like, what makes them?
They're just not, I've watched like every video on proper running form, but no one is like definitive, like, and like explains it well. It's just like, yeah, it's really bad. So maybe there's a way to do that too. I don't know yet.
Okay.
We'll see, but I think the goal is that I will follow doing the things that I want to do, which will lead to some kind of learning, and I can document the process of learning that,
all right,
and or experiment.
And just experimenting experiencing it.
Right. The other thing that I want to document, aside from the travel thing, is like I'm doing that Canman business, so I can start documenting that, right? And that could be an episode every once in a while, like a daily. That could be one like
how you're like people that you're meeting, or
so
I'm
gonna
different tasks.
The flyers should have arrived today, so I can make a video describing, like, talking about Canman or whatever. Like, I need to figure out a better format than like just sitting in front of the camera and talking. But like I can make a daily video where somehow I introduce that business, and then I show me flyering all the people, and then I show like, oh, when people call, I can like, well, I don't know if I want to ask them if I can record it, but like I can like figure out some way to document it, and then like document the process as the company grows, if it grows, to because that would also be an interesting thing to watch, right? That's like
watching a startup grow, right there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like I don't know, so
But you have an idea. You have an idea though of like what you want to do, why you want to do it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I don't want to keep applying to jobs because I fucking hate that. And it's like, so not that I have like huge ego, because like I don't deserve to have one, but like there's no way that, like, I don't know, I'm just like such a high quality candidate. I don't feel like anyone appreciates the like what they would be getting from having me on their team. So
Okay.
I think I
Alright.
need to make it on my own. I just think that's the truth. Like, I think I have the energy and the skills that are required to make it on my own. And so I want to prove it to myself that I can do it.
Huh.
Yeah, because I cannot imagine working for someone else right now.
Okay. I mean, now's the time, right, to explore. Now's the time to take a leap, take a chance.
Yeah.
To do it. So. Huh.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Influencer.
Right, yeah, this. Okay.
Here we go.
Dang. All right. Well, good luck. Good luck. I mean, this will be pretty exciting, right? I mean, whatever happens, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully something works.
All right.